Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the In Your Favor podcast. I'm your host, Jesi Carroll. And today I have my just incredible guest, Savannah Joy. She is a voice medicine channel and a divine feminine embodiment leader. And I've had the pleasure of knowing her for a few years now. And when I tell you her not only just evolution of who she's become throughout the years is so inspiring, but just who she's been this entire time has been incredible. So I'm just excited to bring Savannah in today for you guys to get to meet somebody who I really believe just lives from her heart and leads with the utmost of intention in everything that she does and from her intuition. So hi, Savannah, welcome.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here, Jesi. Thank you for having me. So excited for this conversation.
Oh my gosh, me too. There's so many different ways I could take this because there's a million and one things that I was thinking as I was preparing for this because I was reviewing your content. To be honest, I know that I've known you for a few years, but I wanted to dive in and be like, okay, so let me just really get the juice now. And I'm telling you, I broke down into tears because I was like, whoa, like taking in your medicine in all the different forms, whether it's through your voice and your singing and your beautiful music, or it's through the way that you lead women and women's circles, or even divine men. Like you were not only teaching women how to bring in king relationships, but you're also leading groups of men in these divine conversations, raising them up. So I'm like, wherever you want to start with sharing a little bit about you and what you do, like, let's just go there.
So good. Thank you. Thank you for that reflection. And yeah, it's been such a crazy journey, like as we've all been on, right? These evolution paths. And um, I think what I'd love to share is just what becomes possible when you begin to choose yourself and when you begin to choose this path of growth and like self-responsibility. So I have been in multiple relationships. I was married for 7.5 years, together for 10.5 years, all through my 20s, completely unconscious of my childhood wounds or the way I was showing up. I was like the epitome of the people pleaser, like the conflict avoider, the peacekeeper. I learned from my mom to just like do the things and don't share your feelings and don't ask for more and just like hold the resentment inside.
Yeah.
And so that was like the beginning of my journey. I ended up getting a divorce. I started waking up and like just being like, okay, like this whole picture perfect life thing that my soul's actually dying inside and I don't feel fulfilled in this relationship. Like there has to be more, right? And like starting to ask those bigger questions of like, what else is out there? Like I was in a corporate job that I hated and it was just like asking bigger questions about my purpose. But really, like that was 6 years ago that I got divorced. And the last 6 years have been this insane. I feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes in the last
Yeah.
6 years. Like this insane, like portal after portal of facing all the parts of me that were unconscious or that I was living from these like childhood wounds or these limiting beliefs. And after getting out of my marriage where I like never spoke up and I completely suppressed my voice, I then was in a 2.5 year relationship where it was pretty toxic and it brought out this like rageful side of me. And I was like full on the other side of the spectrum, like screaming and raging. And like I didn't even know those parts of me existed. And so, like, through these relationship portals, I've really had a chance to really dive into myself and where are the places that I've given away my power, that I've given away my voice, that I've outsourced my worthiness, seeking validation and permission from people. Um, and to ultimately today, I'm leading a beautiful business of empowering other women to completely unleash their voices, to be fully expressed, to reclaim their sensuality and their power, and have manifested my complete dream relationship, like with an absolute king. And this journey has been so wild, and I've been to like the depths of the darkness, like I know you have as well. But ultimately am now in a place where I'm able to hold myself through any situation with so much compassion and so much love, and never sacrificing or abandoning my truth or my voice or my needs. And so that's what I take other women through, and it's just like the most rewarding, fulfilling journey, that I could possibly imagine.
Yeah. Literally the word coming through is just so in awe of you. Like it's so inspiring to just see how no matter what, like you fully own your experience. You're like, yeah, I'm a bit like raw right now, or I'm going through this, or I just was in a friggin' void. You keep being able to see what's moving you forward. Like in my eyes, you have such a vision for where you want to go, or just at least like a potent energy that's like, I'm feeling called for more. So I'm just going to keep pushing through, moving through, but honoring along the way. And it's just like, that's who you are. That's your embodiment. It's not even just like a nice idea. It's like, no, this is who I be on a regular basis. Before we like dive into other things, because there's so many other avenues, but breaking it down for the average person, you mentioned some really big things, right? You were just in these toxic relationships. You were just in this place where you didn't feel like yourself. It didn't feel like your full potential coming online. Like it was all these things, and you were able to shift. And you said you were asking yourself powerful questions. And I'm curious if you can think to maybe what some of those were, or how you were able to lean into your gut. You were like, I knew my intuition was telling me this the whole time. So how did you tune into that? Because I think on an average day, an average like life for somebody is they don't know how to hear it. They don't know what that is. They don't even know where to start with asking their self questions. How did you navigate that to get to the
Such
juicy place where you are now?
such beautiful questions. Yeah, I love that. So what I always direct my clients to, like the work that I do, and like, through my own process of this experience of becoming this woman, is truly allowing your body and your emotions to be the information that guides your decisions. So if I look back to that time when I was married, or in the next relationship, or in the job that I hated, right? Like I was literally crying on my way to work almost every morning. Like I was feeling so much fear and so much anxiety in my body. I was feeling so much resentment in my body. Like all of your emotions are wisdom from your body, right? Like when we are depressed, or when we're anxious, or when we're feeling resistance to something, like I just don't want to do that thing, or like I really don't want to hang out with that person, or like that is your body speaking to you. Like that is the feminine intelligence of your body telling you like this is a yes and this is a no. And I love teaching this because as women, we've learned to suppress our emotions and to ignore them, or to minimize them, or to, just avoid in general, right? To just push it down and put on a smiley face and just be okay. Like just be happy, like just be grateful.
Yeah.
And like this is the fundamental problem that I'm helping women to rewrite and to change, because our emotions are gold. Like our body wisdom is gold. Like it is the GPS that guides you.
Yeah.
So when I tune back into that part of my life, and I can see, in hindsight, how much suffering I was in, like how unhappy and unfulfilled and emotional I was, like regularly.
Yeah.
Um, so for anyone listening, my invitation is to notice what situations and what relationships, what habits cause your body and your emotions to create that sense of resistance. Like, I don't want to do that, or constriction, or like you feel like you need to get small in order to be safe, or in order to hold love, or so that people don't reject or abandon you. Like, if there is a place where your body is getting small or constricted or quiet, or you're pushing things down and you're not being authentically fully expressed, it's a place to get curious, right? And I always say, like, always like coming from a place of non-judgment. Like there's no judgment needed here. Like if we can just bring curiosity of like, what is my body trying to tell me right now? Like if I'm feeling depressed, there's probably something in your life that needs to change, right? There's like, that's your soul and your body's way of telling you like something is not in alignment and a change is needed. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's where I would guide people first.
Yeah. I love this because it's so tangible and practical and really hits on the foundation in my eyes of like everything is built about building muscles. You think about when we're living life, we build these habits within ourselves that we build over time. And so when we start having this awareness that our life isn't what we want it to be, it feels stagnant and we feel, oh my gosh, I can't live like this anymore. And then we wonder why changing it is hard. Self-sabotage just comes rushing in. Well, it's because it also takes a building of a new muscle, aka your new identity, and who you're choosing to step into, and normalizing that and creating a new baseline for actually that to come online. So I love your flow here with just leading with curiosity and understanding that your body is so full of wisdom. And it's really about deciding to connect with it and learn the language of your body and not necessarily, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's just, what do you have to tell me? Such a warmer approach. And I love that. I'm curious because one thing I've been really diving into is learning how impactful actually the heart space is. And it sounds obvious, but when you realize that that is where magnetism, abundance, trust, all of it lives, it becomes so important to really bring this into your system in a foundational way where you like connect with it more. And so I just selfishly am just curious how you bring in the heart space into your work because I'm kind of learning this as well as like, okay, I want to get into the body, but I know that the heart is where it all really like the juice really lives. So
Uh-huh.
it's like, how do you create that honoring of your body, but like really focusing on the heart, but like continuing? I don't know if I'm thinking of it in too little of a way, and like I'm still in my head thinking about it.
No, I have something for you for sure.
Okay.
So you're so right, especially for women. And I would expand that like the heart is absolutely a huge place where women create walls, right? We create energetic walls around our hearts to protect us and keep us safe, right? When we get hurt, when we get betrayed, when we are in fear, when we experience a trauma, we create energetic walls around our heart space to protect and to, right, keep out. And it's very real. And I bring in somatic release processes and forgiveness practices to help dissolve and soften and release those walls, um, which creates that opening. It creates more space to receive the abundance and the joy, and for that heart space to radiate outward and become that magnetic feminine that you're talking about. And I also want to point out that the womb space and the throat space is also a huge place where women create blockages and protective mechanisms, right? Because many of us unfortunately have experienced some sort of sexual trauma in our lifetime, which creates a lot of energetic blockages in the womb space and the pelvic space, as well as our throat space, right? Like growing up as children, we have like we can all think of a time when someone told us like either we're like you're not a good singer or like you're being too loud or you need to be quiet or keep it down, or like just stop talking, like even like a parent that's annoyed in a moment but
Yeah.
like loves you 100%, but you're just being annoying as a kid because you're just like incessant and
Yes.
tells you to stop talking or like be quiet, like that can like that one split second moment can create an energetic blockage in the throat space, suppressing and blocking our expression. And so these are the places that I work with women, going into releasing and tuning into those beliefs and those protective mechanisms that have anchored themselves in our bodies. But to your point, the heart space is a huge place for women where we hold resentment and fear and protection.
Yeah, well, that just shows that it's all connected, right? Like when you begin to just go down the journey of honoring your body in general, it will eventually lead you to the heart, but it's going to bring you into other spaces too. Like when you're talking about the throat, as you were saying that, like I actually felt tension in my throat because I was like, oh, that is so true. It's all an extension of our love and our innate truth of, yeah, just like we are really that. That's what we are. That's really beautiful. Like your work, obviously, like from the testimonials I've seen and just the women who have come into your world and just shared how much your work has changed them. It's obviously like this is the real deal. Our bodies are so where the magic is. I'm curious. Okay, I know you've been into music for a really long time. Like when you sing, it feels like an angel singing, like not to like hype you up in like the cheesiest way, but literally I feel my entire system just calms down. Like I'm like, did she come out the womb like singing like an angel? Like but how where did the music come into this? I've been wanting to dive into your sound music medicine journey for so long. Selfishly, I'm like, tell us about your sound medicine.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually have been singing from a very young age. Like my mom tells me all the time, like when I was like 2 years old, I would sing these like songs from, little shows that I would watch or whatever. And yeah, I've been a singer my whole life. I started singing on stage when I was 9, and I recorded my first like demo EP album when I was 12.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so wild to go back and listen to it and was like, oh my God, I was 12. That's insane. Like, what? Um, and yeah, I was
What
on
a
an
big
indie
thing.
record label. Yeah, I was on an indie record label when I was 19 years old, and I was doing the singer-songwriter guitar kind of vibe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and my music was actually really starting to take off like locally up in Seattle where I used to live. And it was so interesting. So like that was when I was still unconscious. Like I hadn't done any of the work of that I've done now. But I used to be super shy. Like I used to be super shy. I had a really hard time like speaking in front of crowds or like entertaining the audience. And as I started to perform and sing more and play more shows, I I realized I was like, this feels like so much pressure to perform. And because I didn't really know who I was yet at that point, I wasn't actually embodied in my confidence and like my authentic expression. I
Yeah.
felt like I needed to like wear a mask or like be somebody I wasn't in order to be like a performer or a singer on stage. And it literally got so uncomfortable that I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm just going to sing and play for fun. Like, I'll keep music for myself, but I don't want to be on stage anymore. And I literally quit doing music for 14 years. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. And
Wow.
so, literally, just a couple years ago, I was in an ayahuasca ceremony. And what came through for me was this like very clear guidance of bringing my singing voice back into my work and like into the work I was doing with women, but in a healing capacity. And at first, I was like, I don't like, what? How? Like, all I can see is like me singing on stage playing like pop songs, like how does that translate to like healing women, and so it was really fun unfolding and like following the breadcrumbs. And so like I ended up having this download to purchase a set of crystal singing bowls in meditation. And so I purchased the singing bowls and started like learning how to play them, and just intuitively I started like vocalizing and singing these melodies on top of the singing bowls. And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of a vibe. Like this is kind of
Yeah.
cool." And like I felt like really activated, and I could just like I was like, this is cool. Maybe this could be something." And then I had a download to do my first goddess circle, is what I called it at first when I first started doing them. But I was like, I'm going to do cacao ceremony and, create space for women to like share and be vulnerable. And we're going to do some embodied movement. And then I'm going to do this sound bowl, sound bath thing, and I'm going to sing. And like I was so nervous for my first one. I had like 9 women show up to my first group, and I had like all my notes of the things I wanted to say, like
Yeah.
like, and it was just like I was so nervous, and it felt so out of my, like I just never done it before. But
Yeah.
that first sound bath, I channeled like it was probably 40 minutes or 45 minutes of sound healing, and I truly allowed myself to just be an open channel and to be like to co-create in the moment and to allow these melodies to come through me. And through that first channeled sound bath that I did for this group of women, it like really began to anchor this new experience or this new offering that was just like, oh wow, like that was something really special. And like all these women, like their feedback was like, I saw my inner child and I had this whole journey. Like these women were going on journeys from this experience. And I was like, holy shit, like this is a thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so since then, I've done, I don't even know how many countless sound baths and circles and retreats and workshops where I bring my sound medicine in. And it's truly become this, it's one of my favorite things to do. I feel like it's what's one of my highest, most natural gifts that just is just like fine tuning like every time I do it.
Yeah, it's the most potent thing. One of the most potent and magical things I've ever personally heard. I remember I got to experience it when we were in this mastermind together, and you were like, "Okay, I'm just gonna like try it out with you guys." I remember being like, I have never experienced more peace and tranquility in my body at the time. I was like, "This is the
Love.
most beautiful thing ever." And then I was looking at your page, and you have some videos where you are touching a tree and you're literally bringing out the vibration through your sound medicine from the tree into song. And it's it it's interesting because it's so, to me it's like you don't see content like that. It's so unique, but at the same time, even though I had never seen something like that, there was a part of me internally that knew that that was truth. Like there was something
Mm,
inside of me resonated with like, that actually makes the most sense over anything else. So it's just like I feel like you're pulling out these primal codes or activating without
mm,
being, so aggressive. It's just by you being your pure self and just activating your gifts within and honoring them and owning them fully, because owning your gifts and having gifts is a whole other thing. Um, so you're like owning them and bringing them to the surface, and then it's almost like it unlocks things inside of other people because it gives them this permission, but also their soul really just clicks with and knows as truth. It's like, oh yeah, that's home. I don't know if that makes any sense, but when I listen to your music and I see your posts that are just so divine, that's what comes through for me, and it's moving and it's emotional.
mm. Thank you so much for that reflection. It really means so much. Like to see how it's received and yeah, your reflection of that is really powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing like I was like I'm just gonna say it as best I can explain it. Like trying to bring it to words is hard when it, like you said, it's a feeling. And something I've been doing in my life is realizing that sometimes just feeling without trying to label or explain it or put it to words is all we need. And so the letting go of, yeah, needing things to be something and just being so present and receiving them is sometimes the work that's being asked of us more than not. Because then when we do that, we do get actual insights, we do get clarity, like the stuff that we're wanting comes anyways. So we don't have to really force, you know.
Love that. Just so in your feminine. Like I'm just gonna feel it. I don't need words.
Yeah. So
No
I'm working,
boxes.
it's a work in progress, but every day I just see the benefits of that, of just sinking in deeper to receivership and taking my hands off the wheel and being like, life, show me magic today. Like, I don't
Mm,
even care how, just show me magic. I want to experience that today. And without fail, it works every time. And so then it makes it
yeah. Just
easier
like
to like,
low attachment. Like
yeah,
just like being unattached to the how and just being really open to receiving like whatever's of the highest good for you.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I wrote down because you said it was really powerful. You were like, before all the music and tapping into allowing your authentic expression to really come to the surface, you were like, I was unconscious. I was not even embodied in this at all. And obviously, you had this ayahuasca experience. And so it invited you into things a little bit more, like maybe intensely than if you had been just kind of living your life. But how do you feel your life is different now as you are allowing your authentic self to come online, not even just literally on like social platforms, but just in your life?
Mm, beautiful question. I think the biggest, I'm just going to say the first thing that I'm noticing when you ask me that is this free flow of my life force energy. So I think about before when I was in my marriage or I was in that other toxic relationship, and there was so much constriction and blockage of speaking my desires or asking for help or sharing my needs or allowing my emotions to actually fully express, right? Like I think about in my marriage, if I would start crying or I was emotional about something, even if it like wasn't about my husband, but I was upset about something and I would start crying or being emotional, as we do,
Yeah.
uh, I could feel like there was a certain point that he was willing to hold space for my emotions. And then I could always feel the point where he was basically like, okay, that's enough. You need to like wrap it up now. And like it was such a felt experience of like, okay, too much emotion, need to wrap it up now. And like it literally created this response in my body. Like after getting divorced and I moved into other relationships, I could feel when I would hit that point of like, okay, you've cried enough, it's time to shut it off and move on. And like I've totally had to rewrite that response to allow myself to actually fully express the energy and the emotion that's needing to be processed in my body, and allowing someone else to be a witness and hold that space for me, right? Like my partner now, like literally will help, like, and he's a somatic coach as well, but he'll literally help me process and move emotions like until it's complete. And
Wow.
so yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
um
I'm like, there's another
but
rabbit hole I want to go.
uh but like but truly I feel like one of the biggest differences of me being in the place now where I allow my full expression to come through, whether that's my radiance and my power, whether that's me like asking for something I want in the bedroom, or that's me asking my partner for support, or like could like would you mind doing the dishes tonight because I don't have the energy for it, like whatever it is, there's a free flowing of my energy, of my life force energy, because I'm not suppressing it. I'm not in fear. I'm not constricting and holding it back and creating these blockages in my system. And so I feel like that is one of the biggest differences of just like experiencing life, being like, yeah, I'm going to ask for that thing. Oh, I need to cry right now. I'm going to go cry. Like there's just there's no restriction of my energy.
Mm. What I love though is that even though maybe it might sound like, okay, well then your emotions are kind of everywhere. It's like, no, but do you know how much safety is in that? When you trust you're actually able to flow, not even just because you have a wonderful partner, but because you've built a foundation that says, I've got me. And so if I need to melt, it's okay. And this is
Yeah.
why when we were talking about earlier, like building the muscles, practicing this, really emphasizing these practices on a daily basis, no matter how small, it will stack up over time, and before you know it, you're gonna start to feel safe. Your nervous system's gonna start to relax and allow some of these releases to happen, and you're gonna be able to hold yourself. And then it's even juicier when you have a partner that's also like, yeah, let's do it. But I'm gonna guess, and I actually want to ask you about this, but I'm gonna guess that your partner, your freaking amazing, juicy king relationship partner, came in because he was a divine match to who you were showing up as for yourself in your life by
Yep.
being that person, a woman who has a foundation of I trust myself and I follow my intuition. And even if it feels scary, I have enough evidence that this actually brings you to more bliss and a more joyous, free life. If there's anything you want to add to that before I dive into
Hmm.
my question, feel free.
Yeah, no, that's super accurate. I did need to cultivate that safety within myself to love and accept myself exactly as I am, and in all of my expressions and in all of my messiness and in all of my shadowy parts, like really being able to be in a place of deep self-acceptance of those. And it's not to say that I was perfectly healed when I attracted this man. Like
Yeah.
I've done so much healing since I've been in this relationship. So it's not about that, but but there is a foundational level of feeling safe enough and feeling worthy enough to actually feel what you feel. right? Like I get to feel sad. I get to feel angry. Like I am allowed to have this full spectrum of emotions. I'm going to love myself through it. And then I'm going to attract a person that also believes that, that also honors my full expression. And then we just get to spiral up together from there.
Yes. That visual is so gorgeous. Do you think also the somatic work connecting inward is what primarily created that sense of safety within you, or were there other things you practiced and did as well?
I do a lot of parts work with myself and with my clients. So like some like if you're in the therapy world, it's like IFS, like internal family systems, but I call it parts work. I'm not a certified therapist, but I am an embodiment coach. Um, but parts work, like really using the body as the guide to get into where that emotion is stemming from, right? Like, and I always like to give like the clearest examples, like when you start to notice tears coming and you start to feel your throat constricting right before you cry, like if that's what was showing up for you in a trigger, for example, like if we were doing a coaching session, I would guide you into, if you said, yeah, I'm noticing this tightness in my throat, I'd be like, cool, let's get curious about that. And we would go into the throat because that's where the energy is. And when we go into the energy, we can go down a few layers and find what is the part of you that's creating this constriction? What is the part of you that's scared? What is the part of you that is holding this belief that you can't speak up or that, whatever it is. And
Yeah.
so we get to get into that place. And so this somatic practice, this somatic healing that I do has been a huge part of me creating that safety within myself. It's just a fuck ton of compassion is really what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so underrated with how insanely important that is. Because it sounds like, oh, like we should just know how to do that. It's like, just be nice. But no, actually being able to hold the love frequency within yourself and
Hmm.
not judge yourself. And instead, anytime you do something that was a mess up or whatever, like literally circling back, you know what, but I love you. It's okay. We're still growing. It's a total reparenting. And that as a
Hmm.
muscle memory is not the norm, but it would change everyone's lives
Hmm.
if they
Yeah, and like
prioritize that.
I'm not gonna say I'm perfect at it. Like I still
Yeah.
judge myself. I still get caught in that like initial reaction of like I should be this or I should be that, right?
Yeah, but how quick are you able to move through it? And it's not that we're trying to rush through our life, but if you had the option of not having to sit in the deep, dark shadow part for, longer than you had to, like you'd probably be like, yeah, I'm going to do that tool all day. But so many people don't
Hmm.
realize that they actually have an option to shift into a lighter feeling place in their life and get back to a happier existence. There is an addiction to suffering. And I've been guilty of that my whole life, and I'm even currently working through that right now. So I don't,
Hmm.
I'm not like coming at anybody with it. I'm just saying when self-awareness, right, is so key and being like, you know what, I'm willing to look at this. I'm willing to sit with it different to create a different result in my life. That's what I love about what you do is it provides such a approachable, fun, and just deep self-love way to get to the heart of who you really are and what you really want in this world. It's just the most gorgeous work I've ever seen.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree.
And
It is the most
yeah,
gorgeous work I've ever seen too. Like truly, like so we did a women's circle here at our home last night, and um, quite a few women were just like super honest. They're like, I'm having a real rough day and like a real rough week and like all the things. And I was like, bring it. Like we got you. Like you don't need to show up any certain way. Like just be here. Like we love you. It's all good. And we did an embodiment practice. Like, so I created a playlist with like, we started out super slow and gentle and juicy. And it like, we had a nice like grow to more like high energy and playful. And I guided them through this experience. And I always start out with just like grounding and just like tuning into the body of like what's here right now and just like being with yourself and just, it's a very intuitive practice of feeling and moving in whatever way the body wants to move. And I know you are familiar with this type of practice. And this has also been one of the game-changing practices and tools for me and the women that I work with is just allowing yourself to feel and meet yourself where you are, because it's so easy to be like, I should feel more energized. I should be more grateful. I should be more motivated. I should be more driven. I should be more productive. All of these things of pressure, and it bypasses what we're actually feeling, which actually keeps it in place, right? What we resist persists. And when we resist the reality of what we're actually feeling, it grasps on tighter. And so, what I love about movement practices like this is it allows you to bring that compassion, bring that curiosity, and allow your body to actually move and transmute the energy in in its own authentic way. And um, you know, like one of the women last night was like, yeah, it just made me realize like how just like 15, 20 minutes of movement, of just like stretching and moving and just like allowing myself to move, like I just feel so much better. Just like, yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the coolest thing ever because it meets yourself where you're at. No matter,
Yeah.
like you said, like you can come in no matter what day you've had or what energy you're in, and you can get something so powerful from it. Something I started to do too is in the mornings, literally just like one song, maybe two, but then I get into it. So I'm like, okay, a third song. But like sometimes it's one song, and I swear to God, 20 minutes later, after I've done a little twerking or I've just been like in my hips or stretching or whatever, I get a flood of creativity. And I used to hear people talk about like getting into the body. It's really like where your real brain is, you know, like where your creative juices can come online. But I never actually experienced that until I was in this place where I was like, I don't even know what to do right now. So I'm just gonna move because what else do I have to do? And yeah, I did that. And then I was getting ready and I was like, whoa, I had to sit down and like take a bunch of notes because it was just a flood. And that's when I started understanding that your lower half, right? There's so much, like 80%, I think it's a little over 80% of our muscles and our bones are in our lower half of our body. And you think about how many emotions get stuck in there and just hold on to all the fibers within our fascia and our being. So when you can just move it and shake it out a little bit, it's going to release. And it's not only going to be like an emotional, you could say a detox a little bit, just a releasing, but what's going to come to the surface oftentimes is things that have been stuck in there that have been wanting to come to the surface for a long time. So I tried this multiple times. I was like, maybe it was a fluke. So I tried it again. And it was like, sure enough, again, and then again, and again, and again. And that's how my personal branding has been shifting without me hiring a brand coach. It's literally been me being like, this feels right. This is like me. And the coolest part is it's like customized for you. So that's just one of the perks. But yeah, I am like all about this. And as somebody who found pole dance and boudoir floor movement and sensual movement like that back in, I think, 2017, when my whole awakening was just starting, that broke me open in ways that I can't even explain. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an episode actually that talks about the magic that I have experienced in life starting there. So stay tuned for
Yeah.
that. But
Love that. Yeah,
um,
same. Like that was a huge portal for me when I started creating these like just spaces, putting on playlists and allowing myself to just move and cry and feel and grieve and process these emotions. Like that's what has totally impacted and helped me structure and create the practices that I bring to my clients. Like it's fucking life-changing. Like actually feeling and being in our bodies in an intuitive way, not from like these are the dance moves I need to do or this is the way I'm supposed to do it. Like no, like we get weird in our movements, you know, like just like whatever the body wants and needs. There's so much wisdom in it and so much release, just like you're saying, like whether that's a like an emotional release or a release of creativity, like there's just so much energy movement that happens.
so incredible. I have nonstop chills as you're talking about it because my body is just like truth, 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 truth. So my love, this has been so just beautiful. And I've just been so honored to have you here sharing and giving so much. So thank you beyond words. Where
Mm.
can people connect with you? I have everything in the show notes, but what are you most excited about in your world right now with your offers and all the things?
Yes. So my signature offering is the Feminine Intelligence Mastermind, which is a 6-month container. It's virtual, but we do an in-person retreat here in Oakland in our gorgeous home, and the sisterhood is incredible. And it's all the stuff that we're talking about on this episode. It's reclaiming your voice. It's embracing and reclaiming your sensuality. It's being able to hold really juicy, healthy, delicious relationships with the masculine. It's all of these things. And so that's my signature offering that I'm the most excited about, that like creates the biggest transformation for the women in my world. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at embrace.your.wild_official, and we'll put that in the show notes. But also embraceyourwild.com to connect more about the Feminine Intelligence Mastermind, my sound medicine, links to my ceremony music is in there. Like I'm all over Spotify and Apple Music and all the places. So yeah, I'd say those are the two main places.
Oh my gosh, so good. Somehow, some way, you're just getting started. It gives me chills. And before I let you go, before I let you leave us, what is just like just maybe a word of wisdom you would give to the woman listening right now that's like loving all of this and that would just help her feel like it's all gonna work out for her and following her truest bliss and truest authentic expression of herself is the way.
Yeah. Well, that what you just said.
No. Or whatever
Um,
message you feel called to share.
hmm yeah. I feel like just the root of everything that I always come back to for myself and for what I teach is truly self-acceptance, right? Like if you can just accept yourself where you are and bring that compassion, right? Like can you just acknowledge like I'm I'm so frustrated right now, or like I'm overwhelmed, or I'm depressed, like, or like whatever it is, right? I'm bringing up a lot of dense kind of emotions, but these are often the ones that are hardest to accept. So I say that because if you can just accept what is, can you just acknowledge, like, okay, shit feels really fucking hard right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Right? If you can just accept that it's hard right now, can you just love yourself in this moment? Because it is truly only through radical acceptance that we can then shift into something different. If we are shaming ourselves or shoulding ourselves or wishing it was different, it's going to grip tighter. But if we can just surrender for a minute, and this isn't about giving up, it's not about not taking action, it's not about being like, okay, well, it's always going to be this way. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But a place of acceptance of like just acknowledging like this is temporary, but it is true for me right now in this moment, and that is so okay. I don't need to be any different than I am right now. And from that place, how can I take care of myself in this moment? What do I need right now in this moment, right? Do I need to go take a nap?
Honestly.
Do I need to cancel that call this afternoon? Like do I just need to take some journal time? Do I need to like go have a cocktail with my girlfriend? Like what would fill you up? Like what would feel really good? And like allow that acceptance to be the portal to your shift.
Oh. That's a quote right there. Um, wow. Let the acceptance be a portal to your shift.
Mhm.
I don't know why I just heard that so loud. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so
everyone
much for
listening,
having
go
me.
go connect with Savannah. You will just fall in love like I have.
Love you so much.